Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on XERO HQ. I'm Ellen, and I'll be presenting with Gideon today. Please note, a recorded version of the webinar will be sent to all registered participants. We'd love to hear from you throughout the webinar, and so if you have any questions, kindly send them in using the chat button beneath your screen. The purpose of today's webinar is to take you through our current query process, the issues that we are having with it, and how we are streamlining the current process. And then also let you know the changes to the existing processes that would occur. Again, if you are just joining us, this is our maiden webinar on XERO HQ, and it's being hosted by Gideon and Ellen. So today, this will be our outline. We'll go through our current workflow and effects, why XERO ASK is a solution to the challenges we are currently facing, and then we'll have a demonstration of how to create an account and how to answer a query. And then we'll take your questions and answers. Okay, so I'm going to take you through some terminologies that I'll be using throughout the presentation. XERO accounts is the gateway or the medium to answer the query. And the XERO organization is the accounting platform where we process the data and reports. And your client advisor is the accountant with an in-depth knowledge in XERO who processes your data or your transactions in the XERO organization. So currently, what's the current query process in place? You send us data, and then we ask you questions through emails and phone calls, and then we receive your response. So the information that you send to us, it comes through different medium, either through the email, through phone calls, and then we spend quite some time organizing all these responses. Sometimes also we miss out on some of the responses that has been provided to the questions that we have asked. And so what are we doing about this current issue? XERO HQ is an open platform in XERO, and it helps synchronize tools needed to run a practice. So within XERO HQ is the XERO ASK feature. The ASK feature is a secure messaging feature, and we are going to use it to request for information and documents that we need anytime we are processing the transactions and there are issues with the transactions. You receive an email from XERO, and within that email, there's a link to a query that you have to answer. Why is the ASK a solution to the current problem that we have? The responses that you are going to provide to us, it feeds directly into XERO, and it serves as a repository for any information that you have shared with us. So we can always refer to the responses that you have given to us. And the responses are available to all who are assigned to the clients. As such, in case your advisor is not around and then another advisor has to take charge of your accounts, they can easily have access to all the responses that you have provided. The query allows us to send you very simplified questions. You also have the option to respond to parts of the query or to attend to the rest later if you do not have answers to all the questions that we have sent to you. And the best part of it is that the ASK feature is absolutely free. There are no hidden charges with regards to using the feature. So what will be the procedure? to using the query. You are going to receive a link to answer the questions that we have designed for you. And then you would have to create a XERO account if you do not have access to the XERO organization. As I explained earlier, the XERO organization is the accounting platform where we process the data and reports. So some of our clients already have access to the XERO organization. So for those who do not have access to the XERO organization, to be able to answer the queries that we have sent to you, you would have to create a XERO account. Creating the XERO account does not give you access to the XERO organization. It only allows you to answer the queries that we have sent to you. And then you proceed to answer the query. So what form will the query take? The answers that we would demand depends on what your advisor also wants. And your advisor would have structured the questions in such a way that you would have to respond accordingly. So if your advisor wants a yes or no answer, they are going to design the query in that format. If they want you to attach a document or any file to it, you would see an option to attach a file to the query that has been sent to you. In creating a XERO account, it's very simple. After you have received the link to answer the query, you will enter your details. You click on the link first. It will take you to another screen. You enter your details. You read and accept the terms of use and privacy policy. And then you just click Get Started. You are going to get an activation email from XERO into your email. So you go back to your inbox, click on the activation email, and then click Yes, it's me, and Get Started. Then you proceed to create a password. Please remember your password must contain at least 8 characters and 1 number. And then you click Activate your account. My co-presenter Gideon is going to take us through how to create a XERO account if you do not have access to the XERO organization. If you have access to the XERO organization, the system will allow you to proceed to answer the queries the moment you click on the link. We're also going to have a demonstration on how to answer a query. So please, Gideon, take over.
Hello everyone, and I am Gideon. And I'll take you through a quick demonstration on how to answer a query from your advisor. Now, to get started, you would receive an email from your advisor requesting you to answer a query. If you do not have a XERO account, clicking on the link will take you to the page to open a XERO account. Now for users who already have access or who already have a XERO account, you do not need to create an account. Clicking on the link will simply take you to the login page where you can enter your login details and answer the query. You would be required to enter your first name and your last name, as well as your email address. This email address will be used to log in every time you receive a query from your advisor. Once you are done confirming, you can click on the human verification box and then agree to the terms of policy. Once you have verified the human verification box and agree to the terms of policy, you click on Continue. Now, after that, you go back to your email and check on the link that has been sent to you to confirm your email address. Click on Yes, it's me. Let's get started. This is the page where you have to enter an 8-character password to secure your account. You can also put in your telephone number and select your country of origin. After that, you can go ahead to activate your account. Please note that this is a one-off process for first-time users who have no Xero account. Subsequently, you would only be required to enter your login details and proceed to answer a query. Now, the content of the first page is a summary of the query. It is usually a 3-step process. The first page contains the nature of the questions in which you have to answer. Click on Get Started. Now, this is the question, the format of the question that has been presented to us by SCG. Read the question and answer appropriately based on the evidence that you have. So, for example, this question demands us to confirm if you have received TCCs that have been dispatched to us by SCG. If I have received all the TCCs, I go ahead to click on the first answer. If I have received some of them, I click on the second answer. And if I haven't received any, I click on the third answer. Now, it also requires to attach a file as a supporting evidence. If there are any details that you would want your advisor to know concerning this query, you can go ahead and enter them in the box below. After that, there is a withholding tax schedule that was added to the dispatch. You would sign and attach that schedule as a proof that you have received the TCCs. After that, you can go ahead and click Next. The third process is a feedback that would also be needed. Now, this requires you to confirm if you are satisfied with this means of communication, but this won't be sent always. Once you are sure that you have submitted or you have answered all the questions correctly, you can go ahead and submit your answer. You'll be required to confirm if you are ready to submit your answer to your practice. The good thing about the Ask feature is that the questions can be answered at any time, and then questions answered are saved automatically. If you answered a question wrongly, you can always go back to the link and then edit your answer. Thank you very much, and I'll hand it over to Ellen.
Okay, Gideon, thanks for the demonstration. As we could see, there are very simple steps to create an account if you do not have access to the Xero organization, and also how to answer a query that has been sent to you. So before we take in your questions, please keep them coming in. We have some sample questions that we would provide some answers to, and then we'll spend some few minutes to answer the questions that have come through. So can the queries be answered directly from my email? The answer is no. You must log into Xero, either your Xero account or the Xero organization, using the link received in the mail, and then you answer the query. So what if I want someone else to answer? Well, it's very simple. You forward the query to the person's email, and then he or she will request access to the query. Your advisor will see the request, and the person will be granted access to the query. Finally, does a respondent get access to the accounting platform when a query is sent to him? The answer is no. Creating a Xero account only allows you to answer the query that has been sent to you. So if you already don't have access to the Xero organization, then you will not be given access to the Xero organization by creating an account. So this brings us to the end of our webinar. If you have any question, please keep them coming through. Also, this is just to remind us that a recorded version of the webinar will be sent to all registered participants. Kindly send in your questions, clarifications, or comments that you need. Okay, so we have a question: how secure is this medium of communication? Well, the XERO Accounting platform itself is a cloud-based software, and then it secures the data, which is also backed up automatically. So there's no risks of theft or loss or even anyone having access to this communication that we have, the query that will be sent to you. And the query is sent to those that we require them to answer, to provide answers to the questions that we have provided. Finally, once your advisor closes the query, you will not be able to have access to the query link anymore unless a new query is sent to you. So your advisor will close the query after they are satisfied with the responses that you have provided. And once that is done, you cannot access the link unless a new link is sent to you for a different query. We also have another question: how do we ask for information using this feature? Okay, so this feature is actually a system designed for SCG or your client advisor to ask you questions regarding the data that you have submitted. So when we are processing the data that you have submitted, that is where we ask you a lot of questions around the data. So we send you the query to respond to. If you have any questions to send to us, you can send that through your normal email. However, if you have a response to a particular query, we normally design the query in such a way that there's a text box for you to provide a response to that particular question that we have sent to you, aside the normal yes or no or attachment design. If you have a normal question, you can just send that through your email. We have another question: what do I do if I have a difficulty? Your client advisor is always available to assist you throughout the process. So if you're having any difficulty, please contact your client advisor. Please keep your questions coming through. Does this apply to all sectors under SCG? This is actually for the Client Accounting Department, CAS, the Client Accounting Service Department. We process the data that is sent to us, the accounting transaction. So this is actually for the Client Accounting Department. Thank you for your questions. Please keep them coming in. The query also can be sent to multiple recipients as well. So if the query is sent to 2 different people, when one person is answering the question, the other one gets to see the answers which have been provided. So you can easily prompt the other recipient to edit any information that they have sent if it doesn't reflect the true status of what we have asked. So that is something that you should please take note of as well. Are there further questions or clarifications or comments that you need? We'll still spend some few minutes, about 5 minutes, to answer additional questions that you have. Okay, I guess we have a comment. I guess the questions will start flowing when we begin the demonstration. Okay, so that is absolutely true. If you have any difficulties, as we said, please contact your client advisor to assist you throughout the process. If there are no further questions, we'll bring our webinar for today to an end. We will be having subsequent webinars on different topics as well. So please do make it a point. Okay, we have a quick one that came in. How do you know if your answer has been sent? Before you submit your query, you will be asked whether to review whatever you have sent to us and then submit. So after you have submitted it, you get a response that your response has been sent. So that is how you'll be able to know whether your response has been sent. When does implementation begin? That's also another question that has come in. We'll begin implementation from next month, November. We'll begin implementation from November. Okay. Thanks for joining us. We'd love to meet you during our next webinar. Enjoy the rest of the day. Goodbye.